Welcome back to Zuko Builds. Today we're building this beautiful wine or liquor bottle rack, or shelf. Rack, shelf, whatever. It's made entirely out of scrap wood. All you need is 3 pieces. Super simple, super beautiful. Let's get to building. Alright guys, first thing we need to do is measure out the base and the rack itself. These are going to be 19.5 inches for both, and I'm using 1x4s. For our second cut, I'm just going to take the first piece and trace it instead of measuring twice. This helps everything be more consistent, especially if you're doing more cuts, but this time we're only cutting 2 pieces. Now let's go ahead and set our miter to 45 degrees. We're going to cut a 45-degree bevel on one end of just one of those boards. That board will be your rack. Sorry for blocking you guys here. You just want to cut to the corner. You don't want to go past the corner because you still want it to be 19.5 inches. So just cut off that corner at 45 degrees. I didn't get this on camera, but I took a 1x12 and cut it to 11.25 inches by 11.25 inches. Now let's take one of our boards we already cut to pretty much cut this thing in half diagonally. I'm just lining it up from corner to corner, drawing my line, and we'll take a jigsaw and cut that right in half. Before chopping away at it, let's go ahead and secure this to our workbench. I'm just taking 2 clamps here, and that'll make it nice and secure for us to cut. When it comes to freehanding with the jigsaw, you just want to take your time with it, go nice and slow, keep your jigsaw as straight as possible, and since I am able to use the second half of this, I'm just going to stay directly over the line, trying to keep it nice and straight. Let me know if you guys want to go over jigsawing. I'll make another video. I have a short one, but it doesn't go too into depth, so let me know if you guys want to see that. Now let's measure out where we're going to drill our holes that the bottlenecks are going to slide into. I'm measuring from the side where the bevel is, and I'm going to go up to 4.5, 10.5, and 16.5 inches. Once we got those marked, I'm just taking my marking gauge and getting the center of these boards. This is a 1x4, which is 3.5 inches wide, so the center is going to be 1.75 inches. And before you go drilling away all willy-nilly, let's set a backer board to help prevent blowout as much as possible. For this project, I'm using a 1 3/8 paddle bit or spade bit, and I'm setting my drill to the low torque setting. Let's go ahead and place the tip of our bit on the center of our marks, and we'll go ahead and drill this out. Once you hit the backer board, you want to flip your drill into reverse and drill coming out in reverse, if that makes any sense. And we'll go ahead and do that for all 3 of our holes. If you've kept up so far, this is what our 3 boards should look like. Let's go ahead and sand these things down. If you want to see how I sand all of my work pieces, all of my projects, click the video on the top right of your screen. I go into depth about how I get my boards buttery smooth. With all 3 pieces nice and smooth, let's go ahead and attach the support to the base. I'm just clamping the base down to the edge of my workbench, that way it doesn't move around while I'm trying to glue and nail the support. With that nice and secured, I went ahead and put wood glue and popped in some brad nails. With the support attached to the base now, let's go ahead and lay out the rack or the shelf onto the support, make sure everything lines up nicely. Then we'll go ahead and add some wood glue and pop some brad nails in. With the brad nails for this, you want to go at an angle to make sure you go directly into the support. Here I'm just taking some plastic wood filler and filling in all of those ugly nail holes. Get enough wood filler in those holes, get some around it, mush it around, and don't worry about the excess because we're going to sand that off once it dries. To sand that wood filler, I just have 320 grit wrapped around a sanding sponge, and I'm lightly going over all of that filler. I went ahead and softened up those edges just a little bit more to give it a nice rounded look. Now we can go ahead and apply our stain. If you want to see how I finish all of my projects, click the video on the top right. While I was staining this, I really wish I had done this before assembling it all. It was kind of hard to get into all these little corners and underneath the shelf or the rack, so just go ahead and stain it before you assemble it. It's a lot easier. As simple as that was, guys, now we have this beautiful wine or liquor bottle shelf, rack, whichever one you choose. I love using scrap wood to build some stuff just to get rid of the clutter. So let me know if you guys want to see a video on 5 to 10 of my favorite scrap wood projects. If you want to see the pictures of it being in use, go down in the description, follow my Instagram, hit that like button. I'll see you guys next week. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome back to Zuko Builds. Today we are building this beautiful wine or liquor bottle.